when I interview people and I say to them, so what are you looking for next? And they say to me, I'm really open. What they're telling me is that they don't know what they don't know what they want. And I'm not going to hire somebody that doesn't know their value, that doesn't know what they bring to their table, or that doesn't know what they want. You don't have to know specifically the role, but you need to know the skills that you want to utilize in your best skills. Okay. So that's why this piece of it is so important. Um, Once you know what you want and you know what your top skills are that you want to use in the future, and I would even argue your top personality traits, the things that differentiate you from somebody else, once you know that, that's when you want to go and you want to insert those skills and those traits into your resume. That's what you want to highlight. So here's just some tips about resumes. It's a selling tool. It's expensive real estate. Sometimes especially when we have a gap, we're so almost obsessed by our gaps and concerned about them that we end up filling up our resume because we have that space at the top, that's that gap, and we start to fill it. And sometimes we fill it with too much and we dilute all the good stuff. So think of your resume as just a piece of paper that's going to entice somebody to want to talk to you and learn more about you. So a lot of people, especially people with gaps, take their resume and they cram into their resume every single thing that they have done in the past. And they see it as this history. It's a history book of everything that they've done professionally. And they're afraid to take anything off because, God forbid, they take something off that's going to catch somebody's attention. What I really encourage you to do is think about your resume from this point forward as a piece of paper that reflects who you want to be, not who you were. Let it reflect who you want to be and be that person. So, if you were a salesperson and you never want to do sales again, you can't change all your job titles, but you can present yourself at the top of your resume and your profile as an administrative professional. If it's all of those sales, if what you did in sales, that organizational piece, that detail-oriented piece is what you want to do in the future, that's what you're going to highlight. You can take off a job or two. If there's a job that you had only for 6 months and it brings angst to you when you are asked about it, take it off. If you have bullets on your resume and 40% of your job was doing one job duty that you didn't like doing, take it off or move it to the bottom of that description of that work. So that's what you need to do. If you are switching career paths, what is it about the jobs I have had that illustrates some of the skills I want to use in the future? Highlight those skills in your resume, those transferable skills. Sometimes people with gaps have a tendency to fill the top part of their resume with all of their short-term jobs. Like, for example, maybe they took a retail job or a small job that was just to keep them afloat, but is a job that they don't want to use and they don't want to do anymore, and they don't want to use those skills anymore. I wouldn't put that job on your resume. I would, even if the job that you love the most, that reflects best what you did, even if that job is 10 years old, I'd keep that on your resume. Even if it was 15 years old, I'd keep it on your resume if it reflects your value. Okay. A few more resume tips. The profile replaces the objective. The objective used to be what you wanted. At the top of the resume, traditionally, you had that objective: I am looking for blah, 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 blah. Flip it. It's not about you. It's about the employer. It's about the person reading your resume. At the top of your resume, whether it's a chronological or a skills-based resume, you want a summary. And if I only read that summary, would I know what you could do for me? So it can't be too fluffy. It can't be too vague. Highlight your skills in that summary. Highlight what it is that you bring to the table. We suggest that you include a gap statement, not a placeholder. So what I mean by that is if you left the workforce to care for an aging family member, you might want to say in your summary at the end of it, you might want to express an eagerness and an excitement to return. So be honest, say, eager to return to marketing after a brief career break, or eager to return after a career break and utilize my XYZ skills in an XYZ environment. Super short and brief, but it's positive. It's not apologetic. That's what you want. And you do not want to put in career 2019 to 2021 career break, laid off due to the pandemic. I think you want to present it in a positive way. You don't want to overemphasize it by putting it down as if it were a job in your professional experience section. Include volunteer work, include work that you did. If it was unpaid, that is fine. If it's relevant to what you want to do next, include it. You can include it in a volunteer section. Volunteer section of your resume is often a great place to show that you kept your skills sharp or that you learned new skills during a career gap. That's why that volunteer section is really important, especially for people with career breaks.